Check this squash stuffing recipe out right now. It's so delicious. This is not your typical stuffing. There's a few different variations that I'm going to go over. You can change up the squash. You can change up the vegetable. It could be parsnip. It could be squash. It could be rutabaga. It's so delicious. Just check it out. You guys are going to love it. First step is to dice brioche. Large dice, put it on a stainless steel pan, and then toast in the oven until dry. No color. Clean! The next step is to dice up the squash. I'm using a kabocha squash, which is very similar to butternut, a little heartier, a little sweeter, a little more earthy. You can use any vegetable you want, which is the beauty of this recipe. I like to use squash because it's in season around Thanksgiving, but you can use any in season vegetable or even out of season if you're a real risk taker. I like to use squash. You can use parsnips, you can use rutabagas, just whatever vegetable you see at the farmer's market. After cutting the tops and bottoms off so it's easier to work with, I use a peeler and peel away all the green. That way it's nice and sweet and there's no bitter rinds. To cut the squash in half, I insert my knife and pound it with the heel of my hand. I then use a spoon and scrape out all the seeds. You can save them for snacks, but I get rid of them. Make sure and dice up the squash pretty small because it's going to cook all the way through in a saute pan. And guys, you don't have to worry about doing a perfect dice. Just chop it up uniform size. It'll look beautiful. Your next step is to dice up an onion. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect either. It's going to sweat down and you're not going to be able to really see the shape. Just do it roughly the same size as the squash. The next step is to dice up celery. Make sure you cut off the dirty ends. The next step is to pick and chop your herbs. I like to use sage and thyme. It lends a really, really nice flavor, especially during the fall. With the thyme, you could spend hours picking it. I just like to pick out the big stems, and then I give it a nice rough chop and add it to my celery and onion. Once your herbs are chopped, go ahead and turn the oven to 350 and then toast your bread until nice and dry, no color. Now, one of the most important steps is to sweat your vegetables. How I like to do it is a pot with a lid, a good amount of butter, low heat, and just slowly, slowly cook. Salt, pepper, stirring occasionally. This is going to take probably 30 minutes or so, and the vegetables are going to be looking very overcooked, but that's what you want. You want them to be completely cooked through and completely soft. As you can see here, the vegetables are really, really, really soft, going nice and slow. I got a little bit of color, which I don't really want, but it actually adds good flavor if you do. You just stir it right back into the vegetables. It reincorporates, and it is delicious. These vegetables are really, really nice, completely soft, a lot of flavor. The next step is to add a good amount of butter to a saute pan that's hot. Melt the butter, and then add in your squash. Now, over medium-high heat, I just sweat and saute. It probably takes about 10 minutes. Add salt and pepper, toss and stir until you get nice color like you can see right there. Once your squash is soft and cooked and has color, you add honey. Now, this honey is going to add sweetness, and you want to caramelize it just a little bit. Once it melts and starts to caramelize, you're going to see it stick to the bottom of the pan, but don't even worry at all because you're going to deglaze with some nice brandy and you're going to flambe it. Warning, when you add the brandy, it flames up quite a bit, so make sure there's no kids around. But you do want to flambe it. That cooks out the alcohol and leaves you with just the sweet taste of the brandy. Now that the brandy's cooked out, your squash are caramelized, ready to mix. The moment you've been waiting for, mixing everything together. Start with the bread. Add your bread to a nice large bowl, and then you're going to add your vegetable. Start by adding your squash straight from the saute pan into the bowl with the bread. Don't be shy, just add it right in. Your next step, you're going to add your slowly, slowly cooked onions and celery. All the butter, all the herbs, all that delicious flavor, add that right in. Now you just need a little bit of liquid. I like to use turkey stock, but you can use chicken stock, you could even use water. The stock just keeps the stuffing really soft and savory flavored. Otherwise, it might get a little bit dry. So just add enough until it looks not too dry, but not too wet. It's very important not to smash the bread up, otherwise you'll kind of get a sticky, gooey paste. You want to slowly kind of fold and incorporate the ingredients together. The idea is to kind of have a nice, savory bread salad. I like to warm it up in a saute pan in the oven, and then I put it in a ramekin, and I serve it as is. Put a little turkey on top, or chicken, or ham, or whatever you'd like. It's very, very delicious. And there we have it. The finished product. Now, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned next week for a brand new video. That's good. Yum.